Imagine for a moment that you're standing at the base of a mountain. It's tall, it's imposing, and it seems insurmountable. That mountain, that's your fear. And today, we're going to climb it together. See, fear is nothing more than a shadow. It looks big and scary, but when you shine a light on it, when you face it head on, you realize it's not as formidable as you thought. It's just a trick of the light, a figment of your imagination. Now, I'm not saying fear isn't real. Oh, it's real, all right. It's as real as the chair you're sitting on, as real as the air you're breathing. But here's the kicker. It's not as powerful as you think it is. You are. Let me tell you a story. Back in my day, I knew a young man. Let's call him Tom. Tom had a dream of starting his own business. He had the skills, he had the knowledge, but there was one thing holding him back. Fear of failure. Fear of the unknown. Fear of what others might think. Sound familiar? I bet it does. We've all been there. We've all had that moment where we stand at the crossroads, one path leading to our comfort zone, the other leading to our dreams. And boy, oh boy, does that comfort zone look tempting. But here's what Tom did. He took a deep breath, closed his eyes, and took that first step. Was it easy? Heck, no. Was it scary? You bet it was. But he did it anyway. And you know what? That business he started, still running today. Stronger than ever. Now, I'm not saying Tom never felt fear again. Fear doesn't just disappear because you face it once. It's like a persistent salesman. It keeps coming back, knocking on your door. But each time Tom faced his fear, it got a little smaller, a little less scary. And Tom got a little stronger, a little braver. That's the secret, folks. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's feeling the fear and doing it anyway. It's looking fear in the eye and saying, not today, buddy. I've got dreams to chase. You see, life is too short to let fear call the shots. Every day you spend in fear is a day you're not living to your full potential. It's a day you're not growing, not learning, not becoming the person you're meant to be. Now, I know what you're thinking, but what if I fail? What if I make a fool of myself? What if it doesn't work out? Well, let me ask you this. What if it does? What if you succeed beyond your wildest dreams? What if taking that leap of faith leads you to heights you never imagined possible? Remember, failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of success. Every successful person you admire, every great achievement in history, they all came with a hefty side of failure. The Wright brothers didn't get their plane off the ground on the first try. Edison didn't invent the light bulb on his first attempt. But they kept going. They kept trying. They kept facing their fears. And that's what I'm asking you to do today. Face your fears, not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel ready. Because let me tell you a secret, you'll never feel completely ready. There will always be doubts, always be uncertainties. But that's okay. That's part of the journey. Start small if you need to. You don't have to conquer your biggest fear right off the bat. Maybe it's as simple as speaking up in a meeting or trying a new hobby or striking up a conversation with a stranger. Whatever it is, do it. Feel the fear, acknowledge it, and then do it anyway. Remember, on the other side of fear is growth. On the other side of fear is opportunity. On the other side of fear is the life you've always dreamed of. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be easy. Growth never is. It's going to be uncomfortable, it's going to be challenging, it's going to push you to your limits, but that's where the magic happens. That's where you discover what you're truly capable of. Think about it this way. Every time you face a fear, you're building a muscle, the muscle of courage, and like any muscle, the more you use it, the stronger it gets. Soon, you'll find yourself doing things you never thought possible, achieving goals you once thought were out of reach. But here's the thing. You've got to be consistent. You can't just face your fear once and expect it to disappear forever. It's a daily practice, a lifelong journey. Every day you've got to wake up and choose courage over comfort, growth over stagnation. And yes, there will be setbacks. There will be days when fear seems to have the upper hand. But that's okay. That's part of the process. The key is to not let those setbacks define you. Learn from them, grow from them, and then get back up and try again. You see, Life is like a great big playground, and fear is just the bully trying to keep you from enjoying the ride. But you're stronger than that bully. You're smarter than that bully. And it's high time you showed that bully who's boss. Now, I want you to close your eyes for a moment. Imagine the life you could have if fear wasn't holding you back. Imagine the things you could achieve, the places you could go, the person you could become. Feels pretty good, doesn't it? It's that life, that future. It's not just a dream. It's a possibility. And the only thing standing between you and that possibility is fear. So what are you going to let fear keep you small? Keep you safe? Keep you from reaching your full potential? Or are you going to rise above it? The choice, my friends, is yours. And it's a choice you have to make every single day. Every morning when you wake up, you have two options. You can hide from your fears, or you can face them head on. Now, I know it's not always easy to choose the latter. Fear has a way of making us doubt ourselves, of making us question our abilities. But let me tell you something. You are capable of so much more than you realize. You have within you a wellspring of courage, of resilience, of strength. It's there, just waiting to be tapped into. And the moment you start drawing from that well, that's when your life begins to change. Think about the people you admire most in this world. The ones who've achieved great things, who've made a difference. Do you think they never felt fear? Of course they did. But the difference is they didn't let that fear stop them. They used it as fuel, as motivation to push harder, to reach further. And that's what I'm challenging you to do today. Use your fear as fuel. Let it drive you forward instead of holding you back. Because here's the truth. The things that scare you the most are often the things most worth doing. Now, I'm not saying you should be reckless. There's a difference between facing your fears and being foolish. But I am saying that you shouldn't let fear be the deciding factor in your life. Don't let it be the reason you don't pursue your dreams. Don't take that chance. Don't make that change. See, at the end of the day, we only regret the chances we didn't take, the dreams we didn't pursue, the fears we didn't face, and life is too short for regrets. So I want you to make a promise to yourself right now. Promise that from this day forward, you're going to start living courageously. You're going to start facing your fears, one day at a time, one step at a time. Maybe it starts with something small. Maybe it's making that phone call you've been putting off, or asking for that raise you know you deserve, or finally signing up for that class you've always wanted to take. Whatever it is, do it. Feel the fear, acknowledge it, and then do it anyway. And here's the beautiful thing. The more you do this, the easier it becomes. It's like building a muscle. At first, it's hard, it's uncomfortable. But the more you work at it, the stronger you get. And before you know it, you're lifting weights you never thought possible. The same is true with courage. The more you practice it, the stronger it becomes. And as your courage grows, your fears begin to shrink. They don't disappear entirely. And that's okay. Remember, courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the ability to act in spite of it. Now, I want to talk about something that often goes hand in hand with fear. Failure. Many of us are afraid to take risks because we're afraid of failing. But here's the thing about failure. It's not the end. It's a beginning. It's a lesson. It's a stepping stone on the path to success. Every great success story is built on a foundation of failures. The most successful people in the world aren't the ones who've never failed. They're the ones who failed the most, learned from those failures, and kept going. So I want you to start looking at failure differently. Instead of seeing it as something to be afraid of, see it as something to be embraced. Because every time you fail, you learn, you grow, you get one step closer to success. And remember, the only true failure is not trying at all. As long as you're out there taking risks, facing your fears, you're already succeeding. You're already living a life of courage. Now let's talk about comfort zones. They're nice, aren't they? They're safe, they're familiar, they're, well, comfortable. But here's the thing about comfort zones, nothing ever grows there. Your comfort zone is like a beautiful garden surrounded by a high fence. It's nice in there, sure. But if you never venture outside that fence, you'll never know what other beautiful things are out there waiting for you. So I challenge you to start pushing the boundaries of your comfort zone. Start small if you need to. Maybe it's trying a new food or taking a different route to work or striking up a conversation with someone new. Whatever it is, do something every day that scares you, even just a little bit, because here's the secret. The more you push your comfort zone, the bigger it gets. What once seemed terrifying becomes manageable. What once seemed impossible becomes achievable. And before you know it, you're living a life beyond your wildest dreams. Now, I want to address something that often holds us back from facing our fears area: the opinion of others. Many of us are afraid to take risks because we're worried about what other people might think. We're afraid of being judged, of being criticized, of being laughed at. But here's the truth. What other people think of you is none of your business. It's their business. Your business is to live your life, to pursue your dreams, to become the best version of yourself. And let me tell you something. The people who matter, the people who truly care about you, they'll support you. They'll cheer you on. And the ones who don't, well, their opinion doesn't matter anyway. Remember, at the end of your life, you're not going to be thinking about what other people thought of you. You're going to be thinking about the life you lived, the risks you took, the fears you faced. So why not start living for yourself now? Now, I want to talk about something that's crucial when it comes to facing your fears. Mindset. Your mindset is like the lens through which you view the world. And when it comes to fear, your mindset can make all the difference. So you see, there are two types of mindsets: a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. A fixed mindset sees challenges as threats, sees failure as a reflection of personal worth. A growth mindset, on the other hand, sees challenges as opportunities, sees failure as a chance to learn and grow. Guess which mindset is better equipped to face fears? That's right, the growth mindset. So I want you to start cultivating a growth mindset. Start seeing challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities. Start seeing failures not as endpoints, but as stepping stones. And most importantly, start seeing yourself not as someone who is fearless, but as someone who has the courage to face their fears. Because remember, courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the triumph over it. Now, let's talk about action. Because all the mindset shifts in the world won't mean anything if you don't take action. You can think about facing your fears all day long, but until you actually do it, nothing's going to change. So I want you to start taking action. Right here, right now, think about a fear that's been holding you back. Maybe it's a big one, maybe it's a small one. But whatever it is, I want you to commit to taking one small step towards facing it. Maybe it's making that phone call you've been putting off. Maybe it's signing up for that class you've always wanted to take. Maybe it's finally starting that business you've been dreaming about. Whatever it is, commit to it. Right now. Because here's the thing. The hardest part is often just getting started. Once you take that first step, once you build up a little momentum, it becomes easier to keep going. And before you know it, you're not just facing your fears, you're conquering them. Now, I want to address something that often comes up when we talk about facing fears: the idea of fearlessness. Many people think that the goal is to become fearless, to reach a point where you're never afraid of anything. But let me tell you something. Fearlessness is a myth. Everyone feels fear. Even the bravest, most courageous people you know feel fear. The difference is they don't let that fear stop them. So instead of trying to become fearless, focus on becoming courageous. Focus on building the strength to face your fears, to act in spite of them. Because that's what true bravery is, not the absence of fear, but the strength to face it. And here's something else to remember. Fear is often a sign that you're on the right track. If you're feeling afraid, it usually means you're pushing yourself, you're growing, you're stepping out of your comfort zone. And that, my friends, is where the magic happens. Now, I want to talk about something that's crucial when it comes to facing your fears: support. You don't have to do this alone. In fact, you shouldn't do this alone. Surround yourself with people who support you, who believe in you, who encourage you to face your fears and chase your dreams. Find a mentor, join a support group, connect with like-minded individuals who are on the same journey. Because when you're surrounded by people who lift you up, who push you to be your best self, facing your fears becomes a whole lot easier. And don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it. Asking for help isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. It shows that you're committed to growth, that you're willing to do whatever it takes to overcome your fears and achieve your goals. Now, as we start to wrap up, I want to leave you with a few final thoughts. First, remember that facing your fears is a journey, not a destination. It's not something you do once and then you're done. It's something you do every day, in big ways and small ways. Second, be patient with yourself. Growth takes time. You're not going to overcome all your fears overnight. There will be setbacks, there will be challenges. But as long as you keep moving forward, as long as you keep facing your fears, you're on the right track. Third, celebrate your victories, no matter how small they might seem. Every time you face a fear, every time you step out of your comfort zone, that's a victory. Acknowledge it, celebrate it, use it as motivation to keep going. And finally, remember why you're doing this. Remember the life you want to live, the person you want to become, the dreams you want to achieve. Let that be your motivation, your driving force, your reason to keep facing your fears day after day. Because here's the truth. On the other side of fear is everything you've ever wanted. On the other side of fear is growth, is opportunity, is the life of your dreams. And it's waiting for you. All you have to do is have the courage to reach out and grab it. So I ask you, what are you waiting for? Your fears aren't going anywhere. They'll always be there, whispering doubts in your ear, trying to hold you back. But you can listen to those fears, let them keep you small, keep you safe, keep you from living the life you're meant to live. Or you can rise above them. You can face them head on, use them as fuel to propel you forward. You can choose courage over comfort, growth over stagnation, action over inaction. The choice is yours. And it's a choice you have to make every single day. So I ask you again, what are you waiting for? Your future self is waiting for you. The person you're meant to become, the life you're meant to live, it's all waiting for you on the other side of fear. All you have to do is take that first step. And let me tell you, that first step is a doozy. It's like stepping off a cliff, not knowing if you'll fly or fall. But here's the secret, you've got wings. You just don't know it yet. Just think about it. Every great adventure, every amazing story, every incredible achievement, they all started with that first step. That moment of courage when someone decided to face their fears head on. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be easy. Oh no, it's going to be tough. There will be times when you want to turn back, when the comfort of your old life calls to you like a siren song. But remember this, the greatest regrets in life are not the things we did, but the things we didn't do. Imagine yourself 10 years from now. Are you going to look back and wish you'd played it safe? Or are you going to look back and be proud of the risks you took? The fears you faced, the life you dared to live. You see, fear is like a bully in the schoolyard of life. It tries to keep you small, keep you in line, keep you from reaching your full potential. But here's the thing about bullies. They're all talk. The moment you stand up to them, they back down. So stand up to your fears. Look them in the eye and say, not today. Today I choose courage. Today I choose growth. Today I choose to become the person I'm meant to be. Now I know what you're thinking, but what if I fail? What if I make a fool of myself? What if it doesn't work out? Well, let me ask you this. What if you fly? What if you succeed beyond your wildest dreams? What if taking that leap of faith leads you to heights you never imagined possible? So embrace failure. Learn from it, grow from it. Let it be the fuel that propels you forward, not the anchor that holds you back. And remember, you're not alone in this journey. Look around you. Every person you see, every success story you hear, they all face their fears. They all took that first step. And if they can do it, so can you. But here's the catch. No one can take that step for you. No one can face your fears on your behalf. It's got to be you. You've got to be the hero of your own story. So what's it going to be? Are you going to let fear write your story? Or are you going to take the pen and write it yourself? Imagine for a moment the life you could have if fear wasn't holding you back. The places you could go, the things you could achieve, the person you could become, it's all they waiting for you. All you have to do is reach out and grab it. But here's the thing. It's not going to happen overnight. Overcoming fear isn't a one-time event. It's a daily practice, a lifelong journey. Every day, you've got to wake up and choose courage over comfort, growth over stagnation. It's like working out. The first day at the gym is tough, your muscles ache, your lungs burn, and you wonder why on earth you're putting yourself through this. But you keep going. Day after day, you show up. And slowly but surely, you start to see changes. You get stronger, you get faster, you get better. The same is true with courage. The more you practice it, the stronger it becomes. What once seemed impossible becomes manageable. What once terrified you becomes just another challenge to overcome. And before you know it, you're living a life beyond your wildest dreams. You're doing things you never thought possible, achieving goals you once thought were out of reach. But it all starts with that first step. That moment when you decide to face your fears, to step out of your comfort zone, to become the person you're meant to be. So I ask you, what are you waiting for? Your future self is waiting. The life of your dreams is waiting. All you have to do is take that first step. Feel the fear. Acknowledge it and then do it anyway. Because that's what courage is. That's what growth is. That's what living a full, rich, meaningful life is all about. Remember, on the other side of fear is everything you've ever wanted. On the other side of fear is the person you're meant to become, the life you're meant to live. So take that step. Take it now. Your future self will thank you for it. And as you take that step, remember this. You're stronger than you think. You're braver than you believe. You're capable of more than you can imagine. Think about the people who inspire you. The ones who've achieved great things, who've made a difference in the world. Do you think they never felt fear? Of course they did, but they didn't let that fear stop them. They used it as fuel, as motivation to push harder, to reach further. And that's what I'm challenging you to do today. Use your fear as fuel. Let it drive you forward instead of holding you back. Because here's the truth. The things that scare you the most are often the things most worth doing. Now, I'm not saying you should be reckless. There's a difference between facing your fears and being foolish. But I am saying that you shouldn't let fear be the deciding factor in your life. Don't let it be the reason you don't pursue your dreams. Don't take that chance. Don't make that change. Because at the end of the day, we only regret the chances we didn't take, the dreams we didn't pursue, the fears we didn't face, and life is too short for regrets. To make a promise to yourself right now. Promise that from this day forward, you're going to start living courageously. You're going to start facing your fears one day at a time, one step at a time. Maybe it starts with something small. Maybe it's making that phone call you've been putting off, or asking for that raise you know you deserve, or finally signing up for that class you've always wanted to take. Whatever it is, do it. Feel the fear, acknowledge it, and then do it anyway. And here's the beautiful thing. The more you do this, the easier it becomes. It's like building a muscle. At first, it's hard, it's uncomfortable. But the more you work at it, the stronger you get, and before you know it, you're lifting weights you never thought possible. The same is true with courage. The more you practice it, the stronger it becomes. And as your courage grows, your fears begin to shrink. They don't disappear entirely, and that's okay. Remember, courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the ability to act in spite of it. So as you embark on this journey of facing your fears, remember this, you're not alone. Every person you admire, every success story you've heard, they all started exactly where you are right now. They all had to take that first step. And just like them, you have everything you need to succeed. You have the strength, the courage, the resilience. It's all there within you, waiting to be unleashed. So unleash it. Step into your power. Embrace your fears and use them as stepping stones to the life you've always dreamed of. Because on the other side of fear, that's where the magic happens. That's where you become the person you're meant to be. That's where you start living the life you're meant to live. So take that step. Take it now. Your future self is waiting.